Greetings, I'm Hondo, and I'm tired and need more coffee. And I'm down here in Anaheim for NAMM 2023, and I've been out at the show for the past 2 days, so I wanted to do a quick video and show you guys what I thought was interesting at the show so far. And let me know if there's anything in here that you're really interested in, and drop a comment, and I'll try to make sure it gets on the channel this year. So the first really cool thing I ran into was a Benson bass head and cab. It's a 700 watt solid state head with really simple tone controls, and then a 1x15 cab. It looks super classy, and it sounded as good as things can sound in NAMM. So if you're a Benson fan, definitely keep your eye out for that one. Also in the same booth, I got the chance to check out the long scale version of the Mendicino bass. And I already did a review of the short scale version on my channel, and I'll throw a link up in the corner. And I absolutely love that bass. And that one came with flats on it. And as soon as I found out about the long scale version, I immediately ordered a custom one with round wounds. So that should actually be done pretty soon. I'm really excited about that one. I'll be doing a full review on it. But if you don't want to wait for that, my buddy Ryan over at Demos in the Dark already did a video for it, so I'll throw a link up there in the corner. But the thing looks awesome, it feels great, just like the short scale version, and I'm really excited for it. So thanks to my buddy Eric, who is an awesome bassist and who actually has his own YouTube and Twitch channels, which I'll link in the description. I went over and checked out Reverend guitars, and I played a couple of the basses that they had available, and I definitely have to say that for the price point that they're at, which is like somewhere in the $1,000 range, depending on which model you want to get, they felt like fantastic. They felt really, really, really good. And I think, you know, when you're talking about bang for your buck basses, you know, these might be kind of in that like top tier of, you know, if you just want to get a really nice bass that looks cool and sounds good and it's just going to be super reliable, Reverend is definitely going to be in my thoughts moving forward, because I was super impressed by it, and I'm gonna really make sure to get at least one or two of their basses in here back in Oakland when I get home to check them out and shoot some reviews for you guys. So I stopped by the Labella booth as well, and got to check out some of the Olinto Mustang basses, which are really awesome. But Trickfish was actually at that same booth, and they came with a bunch of new stuff. And I asked Ryan from Trickfish to kind of give us a rundown of some of the new gear that they brought with them to the show. So check this out.
Hey guys, so the Bullhead 3K is our 3,000 watt Bullhead amplifier. It's technically two separate power modules inside the amplifier that can either be used at the same time with the front input, allowing you to have up to 4 different cabinets, 2 cabinets on each output. So each output's going to be at 1,500 watts, giving you power that you can actually use in that cabinet situation. You know, one 3,000 watt output would probably be overkill for most of the cabinets that we have, but at a 1,500 watt range, you're dealing with clean headroom as you're playing the amp. So when we made the amp and we knew we were going to have 2 modules in it, we were trying to get creative of different ways that our artists have been using 2 amplifier setups on stage. We've got a lot of guys that go out with a key setup and a bass setup and 2 amplifiers and 2 cabinets. So in this setup, you could run your bass in the front and be coming out of one of the Pascal modules into a cabinet, and you could take your second input and there's another input in the back, and when you plug into there, it splits your signals, and you could turn on the second power module right here, and it's going to give you a gain and a master output for the second Pascal, which you could have a totally separate speaker cabinet rig, one for keys, one for bass. So if you had that same setup but only had 1 cabinet, you can turn off the second Pascal and it'll sum both of those inputs together just coming out of 1 amplifier. Another thing that we wanted to do with it being a bigger amplifier and bigger cabinet setup is to put this high pass, low pass filter circuit into the amplifier. Each of them are switchable. You can bring them in and out. So like on the high pass, engaging that and scooting your filter over till just when you start to feel it a little bit, toggle it back and forth, see how you like the difference. What it's going to do is it's going to take some of that low-end information out of the preamp, making the job easier of not only your cabinet but your power module as well. Opposite of that is the low pass. So turning this on, it's going to be a shelf at your treble cutoff, and then as you bring this filter over, it's just shifting over that high-end cutoff, taking some of the zing, sparkle out of a sound, some of that fret clang, if that's not something you're into. What it feels like to me is like a tone knob for your amplifier, like you would find on your bass. So when we did that, we loved this so much in a way that I just didn't know I would like so much. So we put it into a pedal. So this is a high pass, which has some makeup gain, because as you're cutting low end out, sometimes you want to put some of that gain back in. So that's switchable. Also switchable is the low pass. So again, it's like having a tone knob for your rig. You can just bring this in and out. We took our 3-band EQ from the IPA and put it into a foot switch pedal. So this is just a simple EQ on and off. It's got a mid bypass that'll turn it into a 2-band. We've got a bass overdrive preamp. So this is a overdrive pedal designed for bass. So being able to blend in your dry signal is always so important with some of these overdrive circuits. This is a cascaded soft clipping circuit, so it's a really warm sounding overdrive. Following the overdrive is a 3-band EQ, bass, low, mid, and treble, basically allowing you to carve out what you want that overdrive to sound like, adding some low end in or adding some high end to kind of get some of that chainsaw effect of it. We've also got a send and return in the circuit that's before the foot switch. So if you wanted your overdrive to have a bit of delay or a bit of reverb or an octave or another EQ or another overdrive, you could dial in that whole setup and then be able to turn that circuit and the loop on and off at the same time. So that we also have a compressor. I don't have it with me right now. That we'll show you tomorrow. I'll remember to bring it. Which is a voltage control amplifier circuit, much like the old DBX. So we actually got to work with the guys from DBX who have a new company called VAC. So they designed the engine that does that circuit. So working with them, we came up with that full-featured compressor. Ratio, threshold, attack, release. It's got this cool auto attack and release setting that bypasses those controls, and it's kind of dialed in for bass guitar and a makeup volume on that as well. So lots of cool, exciting stuff. We're here at the show to get feedback on these things. These things are literally, hot off the press from a few weeks ago. So we'll get some feedback, we'll get some ideas, and go from there. Oh, and then I keep forgetting to tell people about the new cabinet. This is a 410 vertical cabinet, skinnier, less depth, but more height. It's really easy to move around. It's got wheels on the back and tilts back. This is kind of a vintage look that we're playing with. It's a grill cloth, but with a lot of grill cloth cabinets over time, you have trouble with them, falling out. How many times have we played Ampeg backlines where those? So we've got metal strips at the top and bottom that allow the whole front to be screwed into the baffle. Kind of a throwback to some of the acoustic 360 amplifiers that we all love so much. So anyway, we look forward to letting you guys check this out and talk to you guys soon.
If you've been watching the channel for a while, you probably already know I'm a huge Trickfish fan, so I'm really looking forward to getting some of that gear in. I didn't get a chance to play any of the pedals that they had at the show yet. I'm going to go back to the floor today and try and do that. And if I do, I will make sure I pin a comment down below and give you my impressions if I get the chance. One of the other really big stars of the show for me was this company that makes what they call a bass, a BACE, which is short for a bass cello. And it's basically a cello-sized upright bass that is probably, I think it's the most upright sounding, not upright I've ever played. And they addressed a couple of issues that I've had with similar instruments, one of which is the ergonomics, and the other one is the position that you can play it in. The ergonomics, what they did is they cut out the part that would rest on your thigh normally if you're going to be playing seated, and put like a little cushion in there. It's like a little kind of strip that hopefully you'll be able to see in some of these shots, and it makes it more comfortable to actually play and have the bass sitting in like a traditional electric bass position. And then the other thing that they did is they have a retractable kind of like pin or leg or whatever you would call it that comes out from the bottom, so you can actually play the bass actually standing up. And I think that's particularly important for like the upright sound, because a lot of that sound is in kind of how you attack the strings. So if you're kind of playing like this, it's going to sound very different than playing with the side of your finger. So having both options is really super cool. And I think that's going to make it really useful for both the guys that are using it as an upright substitute because they don't want to carry their own upright, and then also for people who are playing electric bass and just kind of want to delve into the upright sound. So I'm very excited for that one, and I'm going to do my best to get that into the studio, hopefully in 2023 or 2024. So keep an eye out for that. So the last thing that was actually really cool that I wanted to tell you about was the Dunable booth. They have the USA Dunables, which are like the custom ones, but then they also have the DE line. And if you've been watching my videos for a while, you've seen me use the R2 on a couple of videos. They have another one coming out, which looks sick. It's got 2 precision pickups in it, and it's in the narwhal body shape. So that one will be coming out, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in the summer, which is something to really look forward to because those basses are extremely well made for the price point, which is around $1,200. And I'll be doing a review on my R2, and then I'm going to see if I can get one of the narwhal versions as well to check that out.
You're going to get another bass?
So far, that's been everything that was super interesting that I've seen. I'm going to go back today and try and check out some more pedals and try to go to a off-site event that should hopefully have even more pedals. I'm going to check all those out, and then if anything is particularly cool, I will make another video, and if not, I won't. So I hope you are all staying happy and staying healthy, and until next time, take it easy.